comment from Manura on LinkedIn. So is there any testing that needs to go through for ethical approval? Okay, someone is deep into applying for ethics applications. Or is it just ready to be used in practice? Yes, so we have to be clear on that one. This is synthetic data. Not sure it mentions so the semiology examples. So essentially this text is generated by ChatGPT-4, and we actually might go over them and potentially try and improve this data set. But yes, it's a synthetic data set, so in theory, pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but there should be no ethical approval concerns whatsoever, because we're using synthetic data. And here are professional podcasters addressing this question as well for your convenience.
So you sent over the source material for this Seizure Zone app, and yeah, that initial reaction, wait, is this all synthetic data? Is it all AI generated? Totally understandable.
It really is. You see AI mentioned, and that's often the first thought.
Exactly. And that specific question is perfect for what we do here. Let's really unpack it.
Yeah, because that's the core mission for this deep dive, right? To figure out the different places the data in this application actually comes from. Because you're right, it's not just one thing.
It's not a simple yes or no. So we're going to look at what the source material says is AI and what actually comes from, established science.
Okay, so let's start with the most direct part. The source is pretty clear about where the AI comes in. It says the textual descriptions were generated with the assistance of OpenAI's GPT-4o model.
Okay, wow. So the actual words, the descriptions of the seizure symptoms, like when it mentions deja vu or those lip-smacking things for the temporal lobe, that text itself is AI written. The source says the aim was, what? To synthesize and present complex neurological information in a clear and user-friendly manner.
Exactly. So it sounds like AI's job here is clarity, making complex stuff easier to digest.
Right, for accessibility, not generating the fundamental information itself.
Precisely. The AI is the translator, in a way, making the medical jargon more understandable. And this is the key distinction we need to make the underlying brain model, the 3D thing you actually interact with.
Yeah.
That's fundamentally different. The source is very explicit that anatomical model is not synthetic. It wasn't just, imagined by an AI.
Okay, so the AI didn't just dream up a brain structure.
No, definitely not. It states that the model is based on the widely recognized Destrieux Atlas.
Ah, okay, I've heard of that. That's a standard map, right? Used in neuroscience research.
A very standard one. For mapping brain regions, the source even mentions the data came from places like brainer.org, standard geometry files. So the foundation, the actual map of the brain, that's built on established scientific data.
Right, not AI creation. Okay, that's a critical difference. So map equals science. Text on the map equals AI for clarity. What about the specific examples, though? Like the points it shows for visual hallucinations or muscle stiffening. Did the AI just invent those concepts too?
Well, the source called these examples real clinical concepts. So they're meant to be predefined examples of symptoms tied to certain brain areas based on, clinical understanding.
So the concept is real, rooted in medicine, and the AI just writes the little blurb about it.
That seems to be the setup. It aligns with the tool's stated purpose, which the source mentions is about fostering understanding and curiosity about the brain and epilepsy, trying to demystify it all.
Demystify neuroscience. Yeah, okay, so it sounds like they're layering things. You've got the scientific base, the clinical ideas, and then the AI text to make it approachable.
Exactly right. A scientific atlas provides the structure, clinical knowledge informs the examples, and AI generates the accessible descriptions. It's a blend.
Okay, that clarifies things a lot. Yeah. So definitely not all synthetic. It's a mix. The brain structure is scientific data, the examples are based on clinical concepts, and the AI handles the explanatory text.
And it's really important to remember what the source stresses. This whole thing is educational.
Right, the disclaimer.
Yeah, the big disclaimer, not a substitute for professional medical advice. The AI part is there to help people learn to make complex, science-based info easier to grasp.
Look at Seizure Zone sources. It really highlights something broader about information tools today, doesn't it? This blending of data origins. You've got AI-generated stuff sitting right next to data pulled from, well, decades of scientific research.
It's becoming more and more common.
So thinking about this specific mix, the scientific data for the brain model, the AI for the easy-to-read descriptions, what does that make you, the listener? Think about all the different layers of information you run into every day. How much do we really know about where each piece comes from and why that origin story matters?
That's a great takeaway thought. Every bit of information, whether it's text or a 3D model like this, it has an origin science, AI processing, human curation, something else. Understanding those layers, where they come from, it really shapes how we interpret things, especially complex topics. Definitely something to keep in mind as you navigate, well, everything out there.